everybody, Mike here, and today we're looking at Raid on Takao, which is an upcoming cooperative game where you're trying to keep your characters alive and also perform certain scenario objectives in Takao, which is a southern city in Taiwan, but this game is set during World War II near the end, so it's controlled by the Japanese Empire. Sorry that it's been a while since I released a video. I try to do at least 2 to 3 a week. I don't talk about this side of things too much, but Peter and I from the podcast design board games together, and one of our publishers wants a completed version of one of our games in about a week for open play testing, so I've been working really hard on that basically every night, pulling a lot of late nights. But I'm really excited to show this game to you. It's got really great ideas married to a serious but interesting theme. At the moment, the game is going to release at Essen this year. I'm not sure yet about a US release. I hope they bring it over to the US, but I can't say for sure whether that's going to happen yet. So to kind of set the stage, like I said, you're in the city of Takao on the south of Taiwan, currently controlled by the Japanese Empire near the end of World War II. And this is at the time before the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, when the US was firebombing Japanese strongholds to try to kind of take away their morale for the war. I didn't know much about the firebombings for most of my life until I watched the great Studio Ghibli movie Grave of the Fireflies, and that kind of opened my eyes to the fact that the US had done a lot more bombings than just the 2 atomic bombs. And the basic idea of the game is that you're controlling some characters. Here I've got the doctor and the cook. We'll see more of them soon. And they're trying both to wrap up their personal entanglements and kind of come to terms with the grief or problems they have in their personal life, while simultaneously trying to accomplish some kind of objective on the game board itself. A quick note that some of the English components weren't finalized when I got sent this demo copy, so this is just some paper that I printed that had English translations on it, but clearly you would have a nice cardboard for the real game. Now, setup is super quick. You shuffle a bunch of search cards, and you put them on each of these locations, marked with this little magnifying glass symbol. You also put bomb shelter tokens on each of the bomb shelter spaces on the board. Your characters start on Takao Station, which is a pretty central hub to get you where you need to go. And each of your characters is quick to set up. You get 1 token to show your special character ability. You flip it to its exhausted side when you use that once per turn. And you get a health marker and a happiness marker, and these will determine how your character can be defeated in the game. How it works is if the markers are ever next to each other, then you are dead, defeated, I don't know what you want to say for it, and if that happens to any character, then all the players lose the game. You also get a certain number of stamina tokens. In a 2-character game like I'm playing, you each get 3, but in a 3 to 6 character game, you each get 2, so 2 is kind of the standard. Each character has their special set of actions they can take, we'll get to those soon, and some spots for inventory. And finally, each character has a unique set of 3 entanglement cards, and you order these in the 1, 2, 3 order, so you're going to slowly work through your character's personal issues, basically. The final parts of setup, like I said, it's quick, is to pick a scenario and set that up. You're going to always have 6 rounds for every scenario. The game plays pretty quickly. And here I'm doing the Sea Rescue, which is a medium difficulty scenario. And pretty much all of these are based on real events, which I think is pretty cool. In this case, this is based on a ship that was hit in Takao Port that had tons of people on it. And in the scenario, you're trying to save your loved ones from the ship as it sinks. So for this scenario, we take these cards based on the number of characters, shuffle them up, and divide them evenly between these 3 spots of the ship that's sinking. And last part of setup, the game takes place as Takao is being bombed. So you're trying to do all the stuff you're doing while firebombs are dropping on the city. So you get these nice metal coins to represent the US bombers, and it starts right here, and it's going to basically progress around the outside of the board, dropping bombs on different locations as it goes. 1 round of the game, and again there are 6 rounds total, has 4 phases to go through. First is a survival phase, where players will take turns doing actions, and usually your entanglement cards, those personal issues you're trying to resolve, will have their effect at the end of the survival phase. Then you have the scenario phase, where sometimes scenario-related stuff will happen. This scenario doesn't have any of that, so usually this phase is skipped, and you really just have the 3 phases. You have the air raid phase, where the bombers move and also bomb a bunch of locations. They might damage your people if they're in those locations. And then finally, the consumption phase, you're using your stamina during the survival phase, and to get it back, you have to either take damage or eat food during the consumption phase. So for a little more detail on the survival phase and the actions you take, the characters take turns spending 1 stamina token, and they put it in the middle to show what action they're taking, and then move it down to the bottom. All these spaces are equivalent, basically. And the actions you can take are move. So you'll see each space gives you at least 1 space of movement, but sometimes more. And then you can also search, or repair and clear rubble that the bombers have left, basically. So to show these actions in more detail, a move will let you move one space adjacent but not diagonally. There are also some special movement options. You can move from one train station to the other station for a single move. There's also another station to the north. Although if any ruin tokens are on any of the spaces in between or the station itself, you can't do that. So if the train's been blown up, then you can't travel along it. Additionally, for one movement, you can move from one seaport to the other, and that's not affected by ruin tokens. And in this special scenario, I can also move to one of the sea spaces. They're adjacent like that, so I can get to the boat and then back from the ports. Final special rule for movement, these 4 yellow spaces are mountain spaces. They take 2 movement to get into in the first place, but only 1 move to move within them or to move out of them once you're there. Searching is very simple. For each search action you get, you can take 1 card out of the pile that is there. There are 2 cards for a 2-player game, 3 cards for a 3-player game per location. And then finally for the clean action, after these ruin tokens have been placed by the bomber bombing the city, you can spend 1 clean action to remove a token on your space or on an adjacent space. Then for the air raid step, you roll a die and you move the plane that many spaces around the board. And then whatever row or column they're in, you put down ruin tokens in every single space in that row or column. Characters that get bombed will take 2 damage and 1 despair. Now that's unless they're in a bomb shelter, but if a bomb shelter has a ruin token on it, it won't defend you, and if it gets hit again, it is out for the game. It's been bombed too much to protect anybody. Finally, during the consumption phase, you can get back as many stamina tokens as you want, either spending 1 food for each one you move up, you'll get food items as you search down here, or by taking 1 damage for each level you move up. And you don't have to recover all of it. You can leave yourself with less stamina for the next turn if you're worried the damage could kill you or you don't have enough food or whatever. I have 6 rounds to rescue 5 people that are special to my characters on this sinking ship. And if I can do that without my characters being defeated, then I win. There are only 6 cards in the ship in a 2-player game, so I know that only one of them is a false lead and the rest are definitely people I need to rescue. So first to get here, like I said, I have to move from one of the ports into the space, and then I can move along the ship itself. And I can spend 1 search token to roll the die, and on a 2 or 3 I get to flip this, on a 1 I don't, so it's a 66% chance, 2/3. If I flip it and it's a person, I get to hold it on my character, but each character can only hold 1 person at a time, so I have to kind of run back and forth to the ship to try to rescue everybody. And to actually rescue someone, I have to get them to a bomb shelter that has not been completely destroyed by being bombed twice without being repaired. Then I can drop them off and go get somebody else. But don't forget, at the same time, I have these entanglement cards. So I picked 2 people that are related to each other. They have 8 characters in the game, and a lot of them have like little mixing relationships. So the cook is the doctor's father, but the mother took her away and remarried, so he feels like he's become distant from his daughter. So here it says, I heard that something awful happened to my daughter. She may not know me, but I should be with her. So at the end of each action phase, if the doctor's at the same location or adjacent to the cook, I can fulfill this card. I'm going to flip it over and actually get a bonus for the rest of the game. In this case, I will search a bit or get an extra search action whenever I do that action. If I can't get next to my daughter, I'm going to gain 1 despair. Or, this is kind of the interesting thing, I can choose to just give up on this goal and take 2 despair and get the regret effect instead, which is generally weaker. In this case, it's +1 search, but only when I'm about to die, when my health and despair are right next to each other. But it's nice that you can kind of skip these if they become too tough to actually resolve. And also, do note, we don't need it here, but if the doctor was not in play, I would have an alternative way to do this one, because clearly I can't get with my daughter and patch things up between us unless she's in the game. He also has a once per turn ability called kitchenware. He can use a food for himself or somebody else, basically to cook it up really nicely, and it heals them 1 health and also takes away 1 despair. So he's got some nice kind of recovery powers there. Now the doctor's story is a little more tragic. She had a husband and a kid, but they both got killed in an earlier firebombing. So she's trying to basically come to terms with what happened to her. So here it says, you had a lovely family. On Sundays, you went to church with your husband and daughter. These wonderful memories are all gone. So here for Broken Home, at the end of the action phase, to resolve this, I have to either be at Takao Bank, where my husband used to work, or Takao Church, where I used to go with them, to fulfill this one. And in this case, get a bonus to healing items I use on characters. Or again, I can get the regret effect if I just want to give up on this one. And her power is once per round, she can heal somebody else on the same space as her, recovering 1 damage. So the cook's ability is more powerful, it can work for either of them and also heals despair, but he needs to spend a food to do it. Okay, now we only have 6 turns to save 5 people, which sounds pretty ridiculous. So we might just want to move right along the railway to Takao Port, jump right on the boat, and start trying to rescue people. But the only problem with that is that we're not going to have any food, and we have to go to the search things to get food and actually have stuff to survive. Looking at the action options, the cook can move 3. Every character can do that. He can move 2 and search 1, or he can move 1 and clean twice. So he's better at clearing up rubble. The doctor, on the other hand, is a little bit slower. She only moves 1 unless she takes the only moving action, but she can search more than the cook, but can't clean ruins as well as he can. My first thought is maybe the cook will go straight to the boat and start trying to rescue people while the doctor collects some food for them, hopefully. And I think with Takao Bank being here and Takao Church being here, the doctor might just have to give up on getting her first goal for this round. But the cook wants to be on the same space or adjacent to the doctor, so that should be pretty easy to achieve if they both go to the boat by the end of the turn. So first let's have the cook go ahead and spend stamina to take 3 moves. And he's going to barrel straight to the sea, so it's 1 to take the train, and 1 to get onto the first space of the boat. And let's see, let's go ahead and do 1 more and get in the middle, since that'll be the hardest space to reach later. The doctor, on the other hand, is going to spend 1 stamina to move 3 as well, but go to Takao Bank and hopefully get some food in here to feed both characters. Okay, the cook's going to try to search for some survivors. Now, unfortunately, he only gets 1 search and then 2 moves. So if he doesn't find somebody with the search, he's going to not really have anything to do with the 2 moves. So let's hope for a good roll. So the die has 2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 3s. So I just need to not get a 1 for this to work. Nice. So I do get to see who the first card is. And good, it is one of the 5 survivors. Okay, the victim seems to be the foreign language teacher of the musician and the student. So not anybody we know, but we're still going to rescue them. So the cook's going to put this guy in his scenario storage area. And he can hold 4 items, we'll see those soon, plus an equipment and potentially a pet friend. And he still has 2 movements, so I guess he'll move back to Takao Port to start working toward the bomb shelter here or here. The doctor, meanwhile, is going to do a search 2 and then a move 1. She can do those in any order she likes. So she'll pick up both of these cards. And a lot of them will have these question marks. That has effects for some of the scenarios, but here it doesn't have any. So she got both an item and food. So the item can be used as a free action basically whenever on you or somebody in your space. So the Florida water would take away 2 despair from somebody. Basically get them a little drunk so they don't feel so bad about everything. Food, on the other hand, tells you how much food it comes with. So here these vegetables have 3 food. And you can eat 1 food each for recovering a stamina token. So the doctor will put them on her player board, and you'll note that you can only have 4 items at a time, then you have to discard some. And anytime she shares a space with another character, she can pass some of these to them for free. Okay, now she'll go ahead and move 1 space after searching. Now before we get to my final action, we should look at the plane for a second. So it's going to roll a 1, 2, or 3 and move that many spaces. So on a 1, it's going to be right here and blast that entire column. On a 2, it's going to be right here and blast that entire column. On a 3, it's going to come around and blast this row. So unless we're in the bomb shelter, it's not very safe to be in any of these 4 spaces right now. We could get hit. So with that in mind, I think the cook will... So we need to end within 1 space of the doctor for both of them to complete... Well, for him to complete his entanglement, she's not going to. But also if they're on the same space, they can share food at the end of the turn. So I think he'll move 1... 2, drop off his guy and rescue him there, and then 3 so that the plane can't possibly get him, and he has some locations to search in a second. So his single guy goes under the sea rescue card, and now we only have 4 more people to get from the boat, but we have to survive to round 6 regardless, so you can't rescue these guys and then get blown up. Oh, and a brief note, you can't trade individual food tokens. They have to go with the entire card. So the doctor couldn't have given him like 2 food tokens and kept 1 for herself. She would have had to give him the entire thing. But actually, you know what? Let's say that she did do that because she's about to search anyway, so why not? There's a good chance that she'll get some more food. And to that end, she's going to move and search twice again. but she doesn't get any food. She gets a rice wine, another thing can cure some despair, and then a combat helmet, which is an equipment. You can only have one equipment at a time, but it'll make her take one less damage if she gets hit by an airstrike. So just to show you where those go on the player board, there we go. And with her last stamina token moved down, we're ready to move on into the air raid phase. So we roll a d6, and the plane is going to move 2 spaces. Again, it moves along the border of the board, so it's going to hit this entire column going all the way up to the other end. You get these ruin tokens, and while the ruin token is on the space, you can't move into the space, you can't search in the space. If it's like a train station, you can't ride it, so it takes away a lot of the flexibility of what you can do in the game. Sorry, I almost forgot. At the end of the action phase, the cook checks, so he is adjacent to the doctor, so he's going to fulfill his distraught entanglement card, and that'll give him +1 search for the entire game. It goes right over here. And we'll see his new one is, I will do anything for my daughter. Don't you dare touch my daughter. Okay, so at the end of the phase, if the doctor is at the same location as you and there's no other male character here, achieve fulfillment. So the no other male character part is easy, but we have to be in the same location. That's tough. Meanwhile, the doctor did not make it to Takao Bank or Takao Church, but I think I am just going to go ahead and take the regret effect, and that means that I am going to take 2 despair for that. So now, if her health and despair are exactly 1 apart, she has +1 search while that's the case. It also gets slid under. So for next round, we've got Sentimental. Dear daughter, I miss you so much. Okay, so similar, if I'm at Takao Lighthouse or Hukataiken, achieve fulfillment. So by the way, you can just keep on taking 1 despair every turn and kind of let these roll over if you think you might complete it in a later turn, but you can also do the regret option. So for next round, she'd have to either be in the lighthouse, which you can't go to the port, straight from the port to it, you have to walk around to it, or all the way over here. Those don't seem too likely. I think she just might be a lot of full of despair, unfortunately. Okay, so finally we get to move up some tokens. I think the cook will eat 2 food, and he'll take a damage to get his last stamina up, so he has all 3 stamina for next turn, but only 1 food left. And gosh, I think the doctor will take 3 damage to get all her stuff back. So if she takes 1 more damage or 1 more despair, then she is out of the game and we lose. But the despair I'm not too worried about. She can use the Florida water to lower that right down. And then her dad, if he gets the chance, can cook for her and raise her health up 1, so we should be okay, I hope. And we do pass the first player token, so the doctor will start the next round. So we're going into round 2 with 1 person out of 5 rescued. Not too bad, but I'm worried about the damage and the food situation. And a quick note, you'll see a little airplane symbol on 4 and 6. When those rounds starts, we add more planes. So at the very last round of the game, you have 3 planes bombing the heck out of Takao. So we want to try to get the sea rescue finished early if possible. So the doctor's going first, and I think she's going to need to repair the damage on the port before we can do much. So she can move 1 and then organize some people to clean up the rubble here and get the port moving again. Whereas the cook is on some items, so I think he's going to go ahead and search. And with his fulfillment, don't forget he's getting 2 items instead of 1. So he'll go right here. Oh good, he got some food. We definitely needed that. He also got a capybara. So these are like these little animal pets. There's 4 different ones you can get in the game. And they have little abilities once per turn. So this guy says if you tap this card during this turn when you move by using the C, which I'm going to be doing, move without cost and ignore the ruin tokens. Oh, nice. So I can get a free movement on the sea. So I guess the capybara is kind of dragging me behind him. Now, the dark side of the animals, you can take some despair to turn them into food and cook them. We're not going to do that, I think, right? We don't need to do that. We're humane people. We're not that desperate. I'd say we get 3 food on vegetables, and the capybara goes on our pet space. We can hold 1 at a time. And again, these tokens have to stay on the card. I can't, like, move 1 vegetable to another vegetable. They have to stay complete. All right, and he wants to get back on that boat, so he's going to run over here. And while he's here, he'll use his special ability, and 1 food token. We'll do it from the bigger one. And he'll cook a nice meal for his daughter, have her go down 1 despair and up 1 health. So, doing a lot better there. He'll also give her the 2 vegetable, I think. Now for her second action, before she moves, she's going to go ahead and return the favor and use her medicine kit on her dad. And that'll move him back up to full health. And she'll also take some rice wine for herself to move her despair back down because we know that she's not going to be getting her entanglement, so she'll be taking some more despair this turn. And then with both of them being mostly healed, I think she's going to go ahead and move 3 to that same central space and be ready to hopefully find somebody there. I think her dad will do the same. Although actually, no, never mind. He'll go on the boat with his 2 movement and immediately search, because he can do that. He's got 2 searches this time, in case he fails to find somebody the first time. He's looking for anything but a 1. There we go. That was a little suspenseful there. And yes, The victim seems to be from the volunteer soldiers tribe. So another person we don't know, but we're good Samaritans. We're going to keep on rescuing people until we find our actual friends. All right, so we get to put him here. Now, something I'm not sure about with the capybara is whether his free movement applies to the moves from and to the ports. I would say it should, right? It seems like they're pretty much similar. But now we hit a bit of a snag. She can only move one after searching, so if she picks up that guy, she'll be able to go only there or there. So then the cook, to fulfill his entanglement, would have to just stay put and basically not do a third action, which is fine. He can do that, but I'd love to have him run out and fix some rubble or something. But you know what? Let's not worry about it, because he can just take one despair this turn and kind of save that entanglement for next turn. That should be okay. So the cook gets to search twice and then move, so she'll go ahead and search here. Same thing, we're looking for not a 1. Great. And scattered junk blocks the way. You must clear a path. The scattered junk blocks the way. You cannot move or search without removing this card. Spend 1 clean to remove this card. Oh no! So she actually got trapped in the ship and she can't get away until she cleans that off. Her dad could help her out since he's adjacent. Then he'd have 1 move left. He could move to Takao port and then spend 1 clean to, I guess, clean up the space right there. But then, if the plane rolls a 2, he's going to get hit by the airstrike. Well, I guess we got to take that chance. I don't want the doctor to just have to sit there for her entire next action. He'll clean once to get rid of that card. Now, the nice thing is now we know that everything else is a survivor. And then he'll move his 1 movement, and he'll get rid of this. He can't get rid of the rune on the lighthouse, because, again, those aren't actually adjacent to each other. All right, so he did not fulfill his card. We're just going to take 1 despair, because I think he'll get it pretty easily later. And she did not fulfill hers, and I'm pretty sure she's not going to, so let's just go ahead and go and do that for regret. Okay, so if the difference between your health and your despair is exactly 1, you get +1 clean action, so that's actually pretty good. Now our next one is about her potentially finding new love, and it says, if you are the one, do I still have a chance to live happily ever after? So if the musician was in play, she could basically fall in love with the musician. But since he's not, she needs to end her stamina phase with all adjacent locations having no ruin tokens, which might not be too hard to achieve. Probably easier than her going to these impossibly out-of-the-way locations, definitely. Oh my gosh, I just realized something terrible. If the ship rolls 2, not only will he get hit by the airstrike, but it does say over here on the scenario card that if someone on the ship is there when the port gets bombed, then they take 2 despair, but no health damage. But 2 despair would be enough to push the doctor up to be equal and defeat her and lose us the game, because she can't drink the Florida water to feel better about everything until the stamina phase happens again. We're going to hope we don't get a 2 right here. This game will be over very quickly. Okay, 3. The plane flies right past us and bombs a bunch of places that are kind of out of the way. The only negative there was they did get the train station, so we can't go by train too easily, but I think we'll be okay with that. Okay, so now we have to eat, and gosh, we need to get some more food. I think the cook's not going to eat because he can get more use out of 1 food with his special skill, and she can also heal him, so he'll take 3 damage. It's not great. And the doctor will eat both of the vegetables and then take a single damage. So she actually is getting both of her bonuses right now, which I guess is good. Okay, we're going into round 3, so next round we're going to have a second plane at the end of the round, and then a couple more rounds we're going to have 3 planes. Gosh. So the cook is first again. He's got a bomb shelter right here to go to. And there's potentially some food right here for him to get. It seems like that's what we want to do. Although actually, there's way more stuff up at the other end of the port, so maybe I could have the doctor go there as well. So yeah, what if for his first action he does 1 move and 2 clean? So you can use the capybara to move straight to the other port, and he ignores the ruin token that normally would prevent him from moving there. And for his 2 clean, he'll get rid of both of those. Okay, the doctor's going to move once and search twice, and she'll go up toward the same area her dad's in. Alright, so first search is a success, although she won't get to use the second one. Alright, who do we have this time? The victim seems to be the lawyer who managed to rescue the cook from jail by using his connections. Cool, so this guy got my dad out of jail, so he could have the chance to reconcile with me. Definitely have to save him. So she's carrying him. We've got 3 of the people held at least. If we can rescue them both, that'd be great. Alright, so the cook has a 2 move and 2 search, so he'll move here and search twice. Okay, we got, yams with 4 food, and then an animal carcass, 2 food, but we take a despair each time we eat it. But yeah, whatever kind of food it is, I'm just happy that we will be well fed. And then don't forget, he's still got a second move, so he'll move to the bomb shelter and drop off his second rescued victim. Alright, the doctor wants to get where he is, so she'll use 3 move to go to the port there, and then to the same bomb shelter. She'll drop off the lawyer and reunite with her dad. Let's see, let's have them help each other. So she'll heal him for 1, and then she'll go ahead and drink her Florida water to get herself in a safe place. And then he'll use his ability on himself, actually, because he has a despair and she doesn't. And we'll use up one of the yams for that. I think he'll give her the big yam card, and he'll keep the carcass and the vegetables for himself. So the question is, what do we do with our third actions? Because we don't have to take them. We could just stop here. She's currently going to get her entanglement because she has no ruined places adjacent to her, and he's going to get his because he's with his daughter with no male characters there. So I think I'll have him do his 2 move and 2 search, come down and get these cards, then run back up to her. Oh, no! Oh, so we got a wild boar and a black cat. So I think we could cook these in real time, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to let them run free. So we're just going to take the wild boar. I like his ability the best. If you tap this card as you're moving, you can ignore a ruin token and then remove the ruin token, so it's kind of like a free clean. As you run through, he just rams rubble out of the way. And yeah, we'll set the black cat and the capybara free, because they're too adorable to eat. I do wish I'd given the capybara to the doctor before I went, because clearly with me searching, I had the chance of this happening. So if I lose the game because I run out of food, just know that I could have taken a different moral stance and maybe survived, but we're not going to do that. Okay, he'll run back to the bomb shelter, which could actually get hit because the bomber is 3 away from there. And we'll both hang out there, and next turn we'll just try to rush on that boat and get our last 2 people. So he's there to protect his daughter from any males who are trying to take advantage of her potentially. And his new ability is he can remove a rice wine or a medicinal liqueur to turn it into a food. Not an amazing ability, but, you know, not too bad. And she finally fulfills one of her loves. I guess she loves peace and loves her father, since there's no male here for her to love. Oh, and she gets +1 for every action. That's ridiculous. I see, you've been here with me all this time. So I would think that would have been directed towards the musician she fell in love with, but here, her dad's been with her all this time, so love is love, right? By the way, his final card, the last one we have in the game, Dad's cooking skills. I remember my daughter used to love the desserts I made when she was little. So at the end of the round, if the doctor does not use Drain this round, which means she doesn't take any health damage from recovering stamina, basically if she has enough food, then I achieve fulfillment. So I don't have to be with her, I just have to make sure she's well fed. So maybe I'll give her some of the vegetables. We'll see how it goes. But despite all the love we're feeling, we're still in wartime, and... oh, the planes only move 1. That's probably good for me. Now, the negative side, this bomb shelter got hit again while it was already ruined, so it is out of commission. We can't take people there to save them anymore either. Alright, so I guess... I guess I'll eat the animal carcasses to get 2 actions back. Makes me 2 unhappy, and then I'll take 1 damage for my third, because I can cook the vegetables and heal myself. Although I was going to do that for the daughter. Yeesh. Now, she's a little bit easier. She can just eat 2 yams because she didn't use her 3rd stamina last turn. No gosh, that's when you thought things were crazy. Here comes the 2nd airplane. And the 2nd and 3rd airplane both start in the bottom right corner, and then they'll wrap around as well. So that means that he cannot possibly hit the ports this first run. Probably good for us. Okay, the doctor's first this time. She'll, of course, immediately heal her dad for 1. That brings him slightly beyond death's door. And I kind of think we need more food, so maybe she'll go over here and get some food first and then run all the way back to the ship. Yeah, let's try it out. So she'll go 1, 2 with her new +1 movement from her entanglement. She'll gain, oh, herbal medicinal liquor. She can heal 3 with that instead of 2. And then she gets a friend. If I spend 1 food, I don't know if that's going to happen. Tap this card, and, oh, I can search up to 2 spaces away, so he can go find stuff for me. So maybe I could do that. Actually, yeah, that would let her, like, search down here, maybe. We'll have to investigate that. So we'll put Sheba right there. I just realized I actually didn't get the positive entanglement that would have given her +1 healing. That was if she fulfilled her first one positively. So she's just going to heal for 2, I think. Meanwhile, the cook's just going to move 3 to get him back onto the boat. We have a single person there, and there's another one all the way down to the bottom of the boat. Okay, and the doctor's also going to run, but she has 4 movement with her new bonus, so she'll get all the way to the port and be ready to get on the boat next turn. So the cook for his 2nd action, he'll, well, she's about to come in. I think he'll run down to this one and then search twice. First search, oh no, fails. 2nd search, okay, good. So one of the final survivors, a good friend of the priest, an American clergy. Okay, hey, we'll save whoever we can get. Okay, and doctor, for her last action, I think I'm going to use, it's a little crazy, I'm going to feed my last yam to the dog and let him search for me and hopefully get me some more food. So we've got 2 searches and 2 moves. I'd love to get a ton of food from this first card, then run onto the boat and save the last person. Let's see if that's to be. Oh, awesome. 4 more food. Excellent. So that worked out perfect. My little doggy friend got me a bunch of food, and I only had to spend 1 for him to do it. Because remember, moving into that mountain would have taken me 2 movements, so that would have been really bad. Now the question is, do I get another one and then move onto the boat and save this guy next turn, or do I get on the boat to save them immediately? I got a lot of food. I think I'm going to get on the boat right away. Now I only have 1 chance. Oh, no! Alright, so we're going to have to wait until next turn, so I guess she'll just stay there for now. Alright, and the cook will... Well, let's see, he'll use his ability with his last vegetable, because that'll move despair down 1 and health up 1. And remember, 1 health kind of equals 1 food at the end of a round anyway. And I think he'll just move 3 to rescue his last guys, where he does have 1 more to save. And he is in a bomb shelter in case that last airplane comes and blasts at him. Alright, we don't get to see if the last entanglement card resolves until the end of the round, so we'll check that soon. For now, let's see how the planes do. A single roll will resolve both of their movements. 3. So 1, 2, 3. Oh man, good thing the cook was in that bomb shelter. And then, this is not so great because the plane comes around and bombs both ports. Since the doctor was on one of them, she gets 2 to spare, which, hey, it's better than getting actually blasted, even though she did have the helmet for it. Alright, so the cook has no food. I guess he'll just take 3 damage to get all his stuff back. So he's draining himself a ton, but he made sure that his daughter wouldn't have to. And speaking of, she is going to eat all them yams except for a single one to get all of her actions back. And that means the cook can take some solace as he starves and his daughter doing well. Remember, this snack used to be your favorite. +1 movement for him too. Definitely will be useful as we finish out the game. Thankfully, no new airplanes this round. We have 2 more rounds to get this last person rescued into a bomb shelter and then both survive ourselves. Alright, the cook's first, and his entire job right now is to clear rubble for his daughter and maybe get some food for her as well, because he's already taken care of it. She's kind of on the job of getting the last person. So for his first action, he'll clean rubble. So he's got 2 movement with his new bonus and 2 clean. So he'll clean the one he's on and also the post office next to him. And then he's actually going to move over here into the lighthouse to hopefully get some food for us. And he's going to use his boar to smash through and get rid of that 3rd rubble token. Meanwhile, the doctor is, of course, going to search twice and move twice. Oh no, failed the first time. No, failed the second time. Oh man, I don't know if... Okay, well, she's just going to have to stay there. Man, I was thinking, my luck's going perfectly. What could go wrong? I shouldn't have said anything. The dad's going to search twice, and then he can move up to 3 times. So let's see what we get. Oh, yes, some food. Oh, my gosh, the mother load of food. If I can just get my daughter back here, we will easily survive. So fear not, little piggy. You are safe, because we should be able to eat yams for weeks. That takes away his 2nd stamina. And he's still got up to 3 movement. He's going to get over here because he needs to clear that ruin token for his daughter, I think, before he gets back to the bomb shelter. Okay, the doctor is going to search 2, move 2 again. Come on. Yes, there we go. Okay. For last person, the best friend of the engineer and the journalist during their school years. Okay, someone else I don't know, but it is the last person we need to save. And she'll move 2, and she's got 1 action left to get out of here and into the bomb shelter and into safety, hopefully. Alright, the cook will go ahead and remove 2 ruin tokens, then move down to the bomb shelter. And by the way, it's good to note that there is no way for both planes to hit this bomb shelter in 1 turn and smash through it, because this plane would have to get a 2 to be over here and hit it, and the other plane's already on this column, so a 2 would move it past to here. So we are safe from getting kind of double blasted and both killed, potentially. Oh, before I forget, before his turn is finished, let's use 1 food to heal and lower despair on the cook. All right, doctor's last action. You've saved everyone you can. Get out of that boat. 1, 2, 3. Come hang out with your dad in the safety of the bomb shelter. So with that, we have rescued all 5 of the people we could rescue. Now we just need to survive for 2 rounds. And yeah, Dad got a little hurt pushing himself too hard, so the doctor will use her power to heal him 1. And he'll give her 1 of his yams, so they both have 4 food, which should easily take them through the end of the game. Alright, I'm feeling good about this. I think we should be able to survive, but let's see what happens. Okay, it is a 2. So this plane wraps around and smashes all of these spaces. Thank God they were in the bomb shelter. And the second plane will just move and just demolish the middle of the island. And for the first time in the game, right at the end, we actually have more than enough food, so we can both just eat 3 and fully recharge. Because luckily you don't technically have to have any food at the end of the game, so if you can just make it past that point, you're okay. Alright, so we go into the final round in pretty dominant position. I think we got some good luck early on, so thankfully we should be pretty safe now. Final plane comes in right here, so we've got 3 all moving around us. But we should be pretty safe right where we are, because only this one can really hit us effectively. That one's going to go up, and the other one's going to kind of wrap around to the right side of things. So first things first, before the doctor even acts, they'll both use their abilities on each other. She'll move him up there, and he'll cook her a nice home-cooked meal with some yams to move her into safe territory as well. Yeah, and they're just going to clean up the island, so she'll go ahead and get rid of 1 ruin token first. And then he will do 2 movement and 2 ruin, so he'll do 1 with the boar, 2, and then a 3rd. And I think, honestly, she'll just stop. I mean, he has something to do getting some final items for them, but she'll just hang out in safety. And let's see what Dad can provide right here at the end. He'll move 1 to search. Now we'll get some vegetables and a fireplace to cook them with. That sounds like a feast to celebrate the end of the game. And he's still got 1 movement left. There we go. She's already passed, so she's hanging out. So he'll, I guess, clear rubble. Let's make the area around us a little bit nicer. So he'll move 2. We get rid of both the ruin tokens in their general area. So the rest of the island is just totally demolished, but in our little corner of the area, we're doing pretty well. We've got 4 food left between us, a fireplace, a boar pet, and a dog pet, and a fancy helmet. We're looking beautiful. But the airplanes aren't quite done. We get a 2 move to finish the game out. And oh man, I think they're going to miss us completely. So that one gets all of that. This guy gets all of that. The one on top gets everything here. Yeah, look at this. In some sort of miracle, we are in a miraculously untouched part of the island with a functioning lighthouse to live in, a port to go visit people, and we got our stove and everything set up here. So there we go. So there you have it, Raid on Takao. I hope you enjoyed it. Coming to Essen pretty soon. We'll see you at the next stop, and good gaming, everyone.